Hello friends, welcome to CSS video tutorial series. In the previous video tutorial, we have written this sample code to understand descendant selector. We have written in the body section a div tag. Within the div tag, we have written a header, a div, a footer element. Within the header element, we have written h2, p and a element. Within the div element, we have written p element, a element. Within the footer element, we have written h2, p and a element. This is the output of the code. And also we have written for this sample code a DOM tree. You can see that at the root level, we have written a div node, and as the div has direct children header, div and footer, here I have a node with a header, a node with a div, a node with a footer element. And in the header we have written h2p and a element. Similarly, you can see here h2p a element are connected to the header node. So header is the parent of h2, p and a element. And in the div we have p and a elements. You can see p and a elements are connected to the div element. Similarly, h2, p, a elements are connected to the footer element. In the previous video tutorial, we understood descendant selector. Descendant selector targets to a node's direct children, its children's children, its children's 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 children up to the leaf node. Whereas in this video tutorial, we are going to discuss CSS child selector, which actually targets to direct child of a node. So we understand who are the direct children of which node. For this div element, header, div and footer are direct children friend. Similarly, for this header node, h2, p and a elements are direct children. For this div, p and a elements are direct children. For this footer, h2, p and a elements are direct children. If you observe, direct children appear one level down in the tree. Direct children appear one level down in the tree for a selected node. In the code, if you see, direct children appear one level inside, right? For this div, the direct children are header, div and footer. For the header, direct children are h2, p and a elements. For this div, the direct children are p and a element. For this footer, direct children are h2, p and a elements. I hope you guys have understood what are direct children. In this video tutorial, we are going to discuss child selector, CSS child selector. It selects any HTML element targeted by the selector written after the greater than character, which is a direct child or direct children of any HTML element targeted by the selector written before the greater than character. We already know the syntax of a CSS rule set. We write a selector, in flower brackets we put declaration list. To implement child selector or to implement direct child selector, in place of a selector, we write selectors one beside another separated by greater than character. This is the syntax of child selector or direct child selector friends. Selector 1 greater than selector 2 greater than selector 3 and so on. In flower brackets, we write declaration list. This code, what it does means it selects any HTML element targeted by the selector 2, which is a direct child or direct children of any HTML element targeted by selector 1. Here I have an example code, div greater than p. Both are tag selectors. In flower brackets, I have written border 2px solid red. What this code does, it selects any p element. It selects any p element which is direct child or which are direct children of any div element and applies the border 2px solid red. Let's see the demonstration so that we get a clear idea. Here I go to the code. Remember that for this body element, this div is a direct children. For this div element, this header, div and footer are direct children. For the header element, h2, p and a are direct children. For this div, p and a elements are direct children. For this footer, h2, p and a are direct children. Direct children appear one level inside. Okay, just one level inside. Here in the head section, I say style type equal to text or CSS. then I say closing style, and then here I say div greater than p opening bracket closing bracket, and then I say there border of 2px solid red semicolon. Now what I am telling to the browser, locate any div in this page. So here we have two div in this page. If it has a direct children p element, apply the border to px solid red on it. In our case here, there is no p element which is direct child or a children of this outer div element, but in the inner div element we can find a paragraph element which is a direct child of the inner div. So browser applies a border of 2px solid red around this paragraph. Let me save file, save, go to browser and say refresh. You can see that this paragraph has the border of 2px solid red which is within this div element. Let me change the code and explain much more clearly. If I say here header, file, save, go to browser, refresh, you can see that this header element has a paragraph element which is the direct child. Hence that paragraph is now having the border set to 2px solid red. Similarly, I tell to the browser, locate any footer in this page. If it has a direct child or a children p element, apply the border to px solid red. Here this footer has one direct child with the name p, and that is going to have now the border set to 2px solid red. We can write a lot better, much more specifically. I can tell to the system that locate a body element. If it has a direct child div, and apply the border to px solid red. File, save. You can see that the body has one div element which is a direct child. This div is not a direct child of the body element. Remember guys, this div is indirect. It is children's children. So this div is a direct child. Hence this div is going to have now border to px solid red. File, save, go to browser, refresh. You can see that the complete div has the border set to 2px. If I want to set the border for this div, what I can do is I can use one more greater than sign and say div. Now what we are telling to the system this time, locate a body element. Okay, is it has a direct children div? Yes, there is a direct child div. Is it has again a direct child or a children div? Yes, there is a div which is a direct child of this div. So apply the border of 2px solid red around it. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that that div has the border set to 2px solid red. That is how CSS Child Selector or CSS Direct Child Selector works, friends. I hope you guys have understood clearly what are direct children or direct child and how you can use the greater than sign to target direct child or a children of a specific node. For this tutorial, this much is enough, friends. I suggest you people to try using the CSS Direct Child Selector in your websites. For more benefits and be updated, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to like, comment and share these videos with others so that everyone will get benefited. Keep learning, keep coding, keep sharing. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.